Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. We're in the final hour of the trading day. I know you hear this every day, but I think it's worth repeating. In my opinion, the best time to make the majority of your buying and selling decisions is at the end of the day, in the last hour right before the close. During the day, you have the day traders and you have the algorithms. They're in control of the market. They're the ones that are moving the prices around. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions. They come in with the largest amount of money. They start bullying their way, they start bullying the prices and move the prices in what direction they think the valid price is, and they take control away. So I consider them smart money. I like to follow them at the end of the day. I like to piggyback on what they are doing at the end of the day. So that is why I make the majority of my buying and selling decisions in the last few minutes of the day. I did have one day trade today. I'll show you. It worked out really nicely, but I'll show you that when we go through the chart, or when we go through my positions. But anyway, thank you so much for coming today. Always nice to see everyone. Bob is here. Hey, Bob. Good to see you, my friend. Dan is here. Hi, Dan. Hope you're having a good day. So, market today has been it's been green. Dow Jones is currently up 154 points, up 0.6%. NASDAQ is only up 18 points, only up 0.19%, and the S&P is up 11.95, up 0.39%. So it looks like the clear winner today, right now, is the Dow Jones. No, I take that back. It's the IWM. It's the Russell 2000, and then the Dow Jones. So anyway, Bacon Bandit. Hey, Bacon is back. How you doing, bud? Good to see you from Texas, and please give my best to Duncan whenever you see him. Hi, Scatty13. Good to see you. Hello, Greg and all. Hello, Scatty. Hey, Kamal. How you doing, my friend? Appreciate you coming by as always. So Frank is here. Hi. Hello, Greg and group. Hello, Frank. Nice to see you. Appreciate you being here. Boy, it's been hot here in Utah. Holy smokes. I went for a hike yesterday. Man, it was cooking. I got home and I think I had heat stroke. I was just not used to it being that hot, but I am tough. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to do it again today, but I don't take Katie. I wait till it cools down for Katie because she's old. So, all right. And Zach is here. Hey, Zach, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's doing well out there. All right, well, here's the plan for today. We got a lot to get through. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, what methodology I was using, what my thinking was when I bought them, what strategy it was, and then most importantly, how I'm going to manage them going forward, either to the upside or to the downside. You have to have a plan, whether it goes up or down. Then we're going to go over your current positions, and looks like we're having some good some of these are up pretty nicely today, so we'll go through those, take a look at those. After that, about halfway of the podcast, going to do just a few minutes on either some trader psychology or some trading philosophy. It's very important part of your trading career is getting your emotions in check, sticking with your plan, dealing with the devil and the angel on your shoulder, battling with that fear and greed. It's important to learn how to trade. Yes, we know how to do that, but that is the majority of the challenge comes from the psychological standpoint. I was hiking yesterday with a friend of mine. I was explaining to her, she's like, once you learn how to trade, you just know, right? And I'm like, kinda. I mean, yes. I mean, that's the way it should be. But I said emotions just get in the way and they start messing things up. She goes, well, why don't you just stick with the plan? I'm like, that's right. That is a good suggestion. I said, but it's much, much harder than people realize. So that's why I always like to harp on it each day. And hopefully by hearing something each day in a different way, you'll start soaking it in and you'll do it because it's important. After that, we are going to go down through my watch list to look for a potential new entry today. I have 3 requirements when I look for an entry. First requirement, confluence or combination of indicators. I look at each indicator like MACD, RSI, moving average crossovers, ATR channels, I look at them as potential groups of buyers, and you'll put yourself in the best position to have a profitable trade if you are in the company with as many other buyers as possible. So that's why I look for a confluence or combination, at least on one time frame, ideally on multiple time frames. You want as many groups of buyers as possible and lining up. Step number 2, want to make sure you have a good risk to reward ratio. 2 to 1 is my minimum. I want to make sure I can make more than 2 times to the upside based upon realistic resistance compared to where my stop is based upon realistic support below me. And then lastly, just make sure you have some diversification in your positions. Don't have all tech stock, don't have all auto stocks or healthcare stocks, right? Because if one industry does really poorly that day, they're probably all going to go down together. So try to get some diversification. Even try to get some diversification outside of equities, like gold or silver or oil. Excuse me, or a currency, something like that, right? Like coffee today, for example. So I'm going to go through, look for those 3 requirements. If I see something at the end of the day that qualifies for all those 3, I will go ahead and enter the trade at the end of the day after the market closes. If anybody has any questions for me, happy to answer them. If you'd like me to take a look at any stock symbols, give you my opinion, I'm happy to do that. If there are any stock symbols that you would like to get my opinion on before the market closes, please put a star or an asterisk by them in the chat. And so I'll do my very best to get to them before the market closes. And then also, if you have any changes in your positions, new entries, new exits, you want me to update the board with your entries, please let me know. But if you could, please be so nice just to wait till the end of the day after the market closes, because it takes a little while and I want to get it right, but I kind of have to wait till the pressure is off with the market closing. Okay, so that's that. So if you just hang tight, I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer and I'll be back. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, thanks for holding through that with me. So looks like what is hot for Utah? Well, you know, we get into the hundreds in the summer. I think yesterday we were in the 90s, but it went from the 60s and 70s to the 90s, it seemed like, in one day. But I like hot weather, Zach. I'm just not used to it. David, hey buddy, good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Dirk is here. Hello, Dirk. Nice to have you as always. Miko25. Hi, Greg and everyone. Hi, Miko. Steve Burns, hey buddy, what is happening? Good to see you, my friend. Always an honor, always a privilege to have you here, Steve. I really mean that, and I'm sure everyone else in the chat feels the same way. That's a big deal, and so I really appreciate that. Steve says, I exited Spice here for a loss as it lost lows of the day. Yeah, it's been a hot mess. It's been a hot mess. That's the first one up on the board that I'm going to go over. So let me see. Did I have? Yeah. And Steam. Yeah. Had you down for that. So, all right. Yeah. Sometimes they don't work out, right, Steve? You take your signals when you have them, but that's it. Frank says, today is Blackout Tuesday, where the music and poems go silent. So please reflect on our fellow man and on doing all the good that we can. Oh, thank you, Frank. I wasn't sure if that was a poem or not, but it seems like it rhymes. Today is Blackout Tuesday, where the music and poems go silent. So please reflect on our fellow man and on doing all the good that we can. Boy, is that true. That is true. I won't post that because I don't think you meant that as a poem and you want that to go silent. But thank you, Frank. Yes, I think those are good words of wisdom, especially under the circumstances. So thank you, Frank. That's That's a good message. Steve says, I'm still holding SSO and DDM. Right. I've got you down for that. Hey, Marco, good to see you. Hi, Greg and all. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Hope you're having a nice evening. Frank says, I was also stopped out of Spice for a small loss. Okay. Zach, what happened with Spice today? Saw Branson was speaking, so I can only imagine they didn't care for what he had to say. I don't know. It started out early this morning. I don't know. I just know that it is down. Oh, wow. That is warm. Too warm for me. All right, well, let's get to it. Speaking of Spice, boy, this was a nasty one today for everybody, for Frank and Pinsey and Karen and Gary and Miko and Steve and myself. SPCE, Virgin Galactic, I did take this yesterday when we had the 520 crossover. This is a good back-tested approach. MACD was positive above the 50 RSI. Lots of good signals, but whether it was news or whatever it was, it just collapse, down 9.36% today. It's a big loss. Yep, that's a big loss, unfortunately. You can see my red line down here. This is my emergency stop. So if it had gotten down here before the end of the day, I would have hit my emergency stop and I would have known exactly how much I was going to lose because I position size for it. But hopefully it won't get down there by the end of the day. I'm just going to hang on till the end of the day. As per my rules, but yeah, barring some miracle, I am definitely getting out of this with the 5 crossing back below the 20. So this was unfortunate for all of us. Next is JO. I did buy JO yesterday. It had a nice under 30, over 30, had a bullish engulfing bar, had a V1 close back over the negative third ATR channel. I bought it at 3106. Currently, it's at 30.93, so I'm sticking with this. It's still holding the 30 RSI. It's still holding the halfway of the V1. So I definitely will be keeping this today, but slightly down on that, unfortunately, but not too bad. It's certainly not compared to space. All right, SPY. So everybody knows the routine, but in case I have some new viewers, I just want to quickly go over this. I do buy the SPY SPY each day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take the overnight risk. I sell it first thing the next morning. I do this based upon a back study from Liz Ann Saunders. They tested every single day since 1993 2 approaches. Approach number 1 was buying the SPY at the open, holding it through the day, selling at the close. This turned out to be a negative 13.9% if you did it every day. If you did the opposite, which is what I do, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, take that overnight risk, that's really where I believe the edge is in this system, and sell it first thing the next morning, positive 634.2% return compared to a negative 13.9%. So huge difference, past performance, no guarantee of future results, may never work again in the history of the world. But since 1993, it has done quite well. The blue line is the buy in the afternoon, sell the next morning. The orange line is the buy in the morning, sell in that current afternoon. You can see the blue line has done quite well over time. It's just gone up and up and up and up, but there are drawdowns along the way. It's a bucking bronco, just like buying and holding investing. This is essentially buying and holding the SPY, but you're not holding it through the day. You're holding it at nighttime. So kind of the same thing. So anyway, that being said, that's why I did buy the SPY. I bought it at the close yesterday at 305.55. Sold it this morning at 306.52. So just under $1 for the overnight hold. So that's good. That's a win. I will be selling that, buying that again today at the close. All right. Boeing. I did buy Boeing on the weekly. I do most of my trades on the daily, but I did see a good setup here on the weekly. I bought this back on the week of 522. Nice setup. We had this wedge forming. We broke to the downside, and then we went right back up. We had a V2. Here's bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 2. Washed out bar 1, bar 3, bar 2 went washed out bar 1's low, bar 3 closed above bar 1's close. It also went under 30, over 30, under the negative third, over the negative third. So this is a good example of a combination of indicators, 3 indicators: V2, under 30, over 30, under the negative third, over the negative third. Bought this here at 12.75. Last week went up. I did hit one profit target. Yesterday it was down. Today we're up again. So far from entry to current, 11.75%. So that's been a really good trade so far. I am targeting this, the 50 RSI initially as my initial profit target. We have not gone up to here yet, which is 1 ATR from the entry. So once I get up there, I will start trailing, but it hasn't moved enough for me to start trailing, but it is a nice trade so far. All right, Amazon. I did short Amazon. This is weekly. Again, I shorted Amazon the week of 5/22. I shorted it because we rejected the third ATR channel. We had a false breakout to the upside and reversal. Here's the previous high. We poked our head up there, didn't like it, came back down. That's what's considered a false breakout to the downside. And we also lost the 70 RSI on the weekly. We went above 70 intra-week, closed below. That was my signal to short. So I did short it here at 24.3168. Next week it went right down. I did cover some of my position, or in other words, just I took a profit target down here, immediately reversed back up. My stop here is 24.74. This is the demarcation line between the new range and the old range. But this is a weekly trade, so I won't make my decisions until Friday. So, and here it is on the daily, is down today a bit. So, all right, but slightly out of the money on this one. All right, well, here we go. Etsy. Etsy was a really nice entry right here, a perfect example of a return to value, sideways motion in the value zone, a false breakout to the downside of bar 1. Here's bar 1. We've had a false break to the downside and back up. Bought it here at 76.05. Moved up nicely for us, took some profit targets along the way. Yesterday, I almost got out with the close below the previous day's low, but it closed right above, thankfully, because this is a nice up 4.36% today. Did hit a profit target here at 80.99, and it's moved up higher since then. So anyway, so far, so good. I'm in trailing stop mode here, where I would close below the previous day's low if that happens. But anyway, this has been a really nice trade so far. Let's see. Yeah, 7.87% roughly. And then lastly, Alibaba. All right. Oh, I forgot to mention Karen and Bing He and Miko25 also have Etsy. I think Bing He, I can't remember. I can't remember now who pointed this trade out. Maybe it was Miko, but thank you, Miko. So Karen, Bing He, and Miko, we're doing good on that. And then Alibaba, this triggered a couple days ago on the 29th. This is how 520 EMA crosses are supposed to work. Not like Spice, right? But at least this one did work. We had the 520 crossover, bought here at 206.69 yesterday, just moved sideways, didn't really cause any damage, and literally exploded today to the upside, up 3.55%. So Miko and David and Pinsky and Quad and Karen are in this. So congratulations. You can see I hit 2 profit targets here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 winners, 2 losers, which is generally pretty good, but that space was just a brutal one, unfortunately. So I will be exiting this at the end of the day. All right, I did have one day trade on Apple that I want to show you, and it's a good example because let me see here. Let me check a little something. All right. So here is a day trade I took on Apple. I was watching Apple 5-minute bars I saw this this higher low developing. Here we have a low, we rallied, then we sold off again. Could have taken the higher low V2 here, but I didn't. I said, I'm just going to wait until we break above the 200. But I liked, whenever you have a break above the 200 that comes from a higher low, I always feel like those are the better ones. I mean, you can see here from the lower low, it failed, but here we have a higher low and then it held. So I did buy it here at 320.28. My stop would have been a close below the 200-day moving average. It went up, was good. Then I had the 520 crossover. So I switched my trade from a close below the 200. I morphed into this 520 crossover. So, which for me would have been, if the price would close below both the 5 and the 20, I would get out of half. If the 5 crossed below the 20, I would get out of the other half. So I switched from a break back above the 200, where my stop would have been a close below the 200, and I morphed into the 520 crossover, and it just went up and up and up and up. Here, I got out of half of my position, and the reason I did is because we went above 70 and below 70. A lot of times I'll get out of the full amount, but I thought, this has been really, really strong here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take half of my position off with the rejection of the 70, and then I'm going to wait for a close below the previous day's low for some confirmation to the downside. Well, then we went down, and I thought for sure it was going to happen here. I thought for sure it was going to happen here, but it continued to hold. I thought for sure it was going to happen here. It continued to hold. And then I had another big up bar again, and then up bar, and then now it closed below the previous low. So I bought here at 320.28. I sold half at 321.85, and I sold the other half at 321.95. So it was a really good trade, really, really good trade. And then after that, well, it kind of pulled back, value zone, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, really good trade. Good trades today, all in all. It's except for that space one. But that's a volatile stock. That's a volatile stock. You can make a lot or you can lose a lot. So, all right, let's go over to your trades. We have Bob and Quad. Few of us had UNG. I got out yesterday when it lost the halfway of the washout bar. I think Bob still has it. Quad still has it. I think Quad, couldn't get out in time. So if it's a little underwater here. So Bob and Quad, if there's any changes, let me know. Kamal bought Roku here with this V2, closed back above the 50, 108.50. Moved up nicely the last couple days. Now it has a little bit down today. He's still in the money, almost $2. But anyway, it's been kind of an interesting day with tech today, kind of all over the place. Netflix. Glenn did buy Netflix. Perfect buy here when it bounced off the 50. He bought it back here on the 27th of May. He bought it at 403.16. Moved sideways, moved up yesterday, down just a smidge today. So really nice trade, Glenn. GIB, beautiful. This was a nice setup. I remember this setup when Kamal and Frank had this bullish engulfing V1, higher low V1. Bought it here at 62.18. And it has just moved up like a champion of all champions for Kamal and Frank. So congrats. That's a nice trade. Oh, I got an F-35 flying over my head. Can you hear it? Yep, that's up 4.93%. So very nice trade. Very nice trade. Looks like we have some resistance up here at the third ATR channel in the 100. But I'm sure you guys are watching that. AGQ. Well, okay, so silver down a little bit for Kamal. He's had a monster trade. He bought this back here at 21.39. Now it's at 29.42. He did sell half of his position back here on May 21st. But currently in the still up 20. Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. 26.61% on AGQ. if I have that correctly. I think I do. So that's a monster trade. I think he's basing that off of SLV. If SLV holds the 200, which it looks like it is. XLU, MA has had a beautiful trade. Boy, some of these bullish engulfing bars, V1s, false breakout to the downside have just been really good trades lately. Bought this at 55.57, moved up, had a little bit of a pullback, and then up, 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 up. So beautiful trade, MA. SSO, Steve still has SSO. He bought it here when the 10 crossed over the 50 EMA. Good back tested approach. Bought it here at 115.45, moved sideways for a little bit, and then jumped up to a new range. And it's been kind of up and down, but upwards, but up and down to go upwards, and that is up 0.37% today. So that's a pretty dang good trade from Steve so far. That is 6.15%, give or take. So congratulations, Steve. Plug. Okay, so Quad bought this here higher. It was a V1 here, 433. Initially went up, down, sideways, and then down today. So this looks to me like it's going to close below halfway the washout bar there. Just an observation. Karen and MA having a monster trade on USO. Bought this sideways motion. Looks very much like Boeing. Sideways motion. Took bar 1, bar 2. Bar 2 washes out bar 1. Bar 3 closes above bar 1's close. Bought here at 21.49. Rallied up. Had a little bit of a pullback. Rallied up. So this looks like currently 25.72%. And I know Kamal had this trade. Some other people had this trade. I had this trade. I bought it here and I scaled. I ran out of shares on this bar. WB, Bing He. I don't think Bing He's going to be with us much except on Fridays. He got a new job in Singapore where his hours are different. So anyway, but hopefully we'll see him on Fridays. But this was a nice trade. Look at this beautiful sideways motion. False breakout to the downside. Reversal back up with the V1. Bought it here at 30.63. Currently it is at 30.72. And what is that? About 4%? Roughly? Oh, 3.4%. Okay. Congratulations, Bing He. Hedge, Quad, and Bing He also bought this under 30, over 30. Looks like it's holding the 30 RSI. I don't know if Quad and Bing, if that's your stop with the close below 30, but it's getting pretty close, but it seems like it's holding. BGS, Bing He bought this, got a nice fill here at 23.08, back on 527, moved up, moved down, up, and down a little bit. So nice going there, Bing He. DDM, Steve Burns did buy the 1050 EMA cross on DDM, which is double leveraged Dow. Initially went right up and then right down and then up, and then it's up today. So that's a nice little trade from Steve. Up about just over 2.4%. Excuse me. All right. Kamal says, I got out of a quarter AGQ when it broke yesterday's low this morning. All right. Sounds like a good plan. I'll mark that there. Glenn says, hi, Greg. Chewy and Square having a great day. Yeah, I heard that. I didn't look at Chewy. Whoa. My gosh. That's fantastic. What a beautiful day. Do you have that, Glenn? And that's a monster. And Square, I heard, is also up nice, up 6.4%. Wow, beautiful. Fantastic. I hope somebody has that. Hey, Mohammed, good to see you. Hi, Greg. Hi, fellow traders. Hello, Mohammed. Hope you're having a good day. Excuse me. Kamal wants to look at GH. Let me look at the weekly before. So last week we had that big bar down. This week we tried to rally, failed at halfway, which that concerns me. Um, I don't like it because yes, you have a big V1, but your halfway is going to be right down here, and you're still going to have to get above this halfway of this bar, which is going to be, I don't think the risk to reward is good personally. Yeah, it's a higher low V1, but it's above the 1 ATR channel. Kamal, right? I mean, it doesn't mean it can't work. It did reject the 10 day, which is good. Reject the 5 day. It is definitely a higher low V1. This is higher than that for sure. We're stuck in about halfway the range from here to here from the Fibonacci standpoint. I don't know. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't take it because I only want to take it in the value zone. Chewy had that false breakout to the downside. I had Chewy, didn't I? Did I buy it here? I think I bought it here. And then went up. And then when did I get out? I think I got out here right before. But yes, you're right. Here we had a false breakout from this low, like like Kamal says, here's the low here. We had a false breakout. Boom, poked our head down there, didn't like it, and popped back up and rejected the 50-day moving average. So I didn't take that, but anyway, congratulations on anybody who had that. That's a huge move, huge, huge. Okay. So listen, before we start going through my watch list, before we start looking for possible end of day trade for me, keeping in mind combination, confluence of indicators, good risk to reward ratio, making sure you have good diversified, you're not too highly correlated in positions, right? Also look at your account heat. Before we do that, I like to spend just a few minutes. There's a lot of great Facebook and Twitter channels out there that really put out. I mean, I use this term trading words of wisdom a lot, but that's really what they are. These are from people that are great traders that have been in the business for a long time. And today is from Mark Minervini. And not only has Mark been trading a long time, he is very well known. And a market wizard. I'm sure you're familiar with the Market Wizard series, but I do like to follow Mark's channel. He has, he's a very successful trader, and so when he says something, I want to listen to it. He's on Twitter at Mark Minervini, MarkMinervini, or just look up Mark Minervini. But this really makes a lot of sense, and when I read this, you'll understand why this kind of, stuck out to me that I want to talk about it. If you want to compound capital and rack up a nice return consistently, there are two things you need to do consistently. Number one, get into the habit of selling into strength and nailing down decent gains. Number two, stop Monday morning quarterbacking the trades that go higher after you sell. And look, I teach a lot of students, and I hear the comment all the time, we got out, but it went higher. Yep, that's how it works, right? But, you can't worry about it. There's going to be times where you sell and you go down, and you're going to have that weird sense of, good, I'm glad I went down because I'm out, right? And there's other times where you're going to sell and it will go up without you, and you're like, how dare you go up without me? But I'm a huge advocate of selling into strength. That's why I phase out all the time, and I phase out when the market gives me something, like BABA today, right? It's been a nice trade. Dr. Alexander Elder and Carrie Lavorne, and I worked with each one of these gentlemen one-on-one, and Dr. Alexander Elder says, look, the market is manic and it's depressive. If you have shares, sell to people when they manically want them, and buy from people when they desperately want to sell them. to you, when they're depressive, right? But when I read this, I was like, oh, I'm glad Mark and I are on the same page. Get into the habit of selling into strength and nailing down decent gains. As you know, I don't sell everything into the strength. I have a mathematical formula that's dynamic, that, accounts for all sorts of different things, that tells me what percentage of my shares to sell. But like today, Alibaba, big day. I'm not going to give this all back, right? I'm going to sell into the strength. Etsy, hit the one profit target again there, sell into the strength. But really, trading is about offense and defense, just like it is in any other sport. You have to play offense, you have to play defense. I consider selling into strength offense. I consider my stop loss or my trailing stop loss defense. So you have to play both, whether it's sports or whether it's trading. I like to take some off into strength, cinch up my trailing stop, and then play defense to the downside, right? It's nice to be able to sell when you can sell into strength, not always into weakness. So that's why I'm a huge fan of phasing out, always have been. Doesn't mean it's the only way to go, right? But it really depends on how it works for you as a person with your psychology. And for me, it works well. It lets me hold on to winners longer because I'm taking, I'm putting some chips, taking some chips off the table, putting them in my pocket. And then if it does turn back around on me, I have fewer shares, so it mitigates the loss. So anyway, thank you, Mark Minervini. I appreciate that. Thanks for all your great posts, and I would suggest subscribing and reading his channel, everyone. Okay. Thank you for reading Mark Minervini. He's awesome. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked him, Frank. Yeah, he is awesome. No doubt about it. All right, let's check the scoreboard here. So Dow Jones up 141, NASDAQ's up 12, and the SPY's up 1010. All right. Well, let's start. All right, so that was my day trade in Apple. That was a goodie. On the daily, on the Apple, I am waiting for a pullback into the value zone. We're getting a little closer and closer, which is good. Notice that the MACD has had a cross under on Apple. So it had a bearish MACD cross under a few days ago. So that, could be telling us that we might be pulling back here. Not for sure, but what I'm looking for is a pullback into the value zone, find some stability, look for that sideways motion, look for a false breakout to the downside and reversal back up. Or in other words, a V1 or a V2. Adobe, same thing. Right now we have a lower high. I'm looking for a pullback into the value zone. Look for a V1 or a V2. All right, Amazon, I'm short, down a little bit today. This is off of the weekly chart, so I'll have to make my decisions at the end of the week. My stop on this is at 24.74. Boeing, we are in this. Really nice trade so far, or I am in this at least. Alibaba, Miko, Dave, Pincy and Company, Quad, Karen, and myself are in this. We're having a really good day there. Berkshire Hathaway is having problems with this third ATR channel. It's struggling up there, right? Like 92% of the time, that's where it struggles. So I'm looking for a pullback into the value zone for Berkshire. Beyond Meat is down today. It made a lower high. This is a good time to point out, when you have a big up move, people always try to short those higher highs, but normally what happens is you fall back into the value zone and then you rally. Shorting that lower high is generally a much better idea than shorting a higher high, because what happens is you have, if people were fortunate enough to short up here, when it starts getting back down here, they start to cover. The people that didn't get in on this nice move up, they want to get in, they want to buy the pullback. That allows you two groups of buyers. That's why when you come back into the value zone, you tend to bounce quickly. Caterpillar, I don't see anything here on CAT. Carnival Cruise Line, I don't see anything here. I'd like to see a pullback into value. DDM, Steve's having a nice trade on DDM today, almost up 1%. Walt Disney not participating today in the rally here. So looking for a pullback into the value zone. Etsy we have up nicely today. Karen, Bing He, Miko, and myself. Boy, this was such a perfect example of a beautiful return to value sideways motion V1. I mean, it's textbook perfect. We're above the value zone. We come back down in. We find some support. We have a false breakout, downside reversal back up. And that's how it's supposed to work. Facebook is down today. I don't see anything there. I'd like to see pull back into the value zone, possibly move back down over the 200 to give me a good risk to reward. Gold, looks like we just made a lower high. Here we make a higher high. We come into the value zone. People that shorted up here, cover in here. People that missed this move, buy here. This moved it up again. But now we've made, this looks like a, doesn't look like it is a V1 to the downside, and it is a lower high. I'm not going to short this, but I'm looking for the 5 to cross under the 20 and then the 5 to cross back over. The Goog, just small bars here. I expect pretty soon we'll have a big move either to the upside or downside. Not sure when though. Goldman Sachs did reject the 200-day moving average. Speaking with some students the other day about shorting, if I was looking to short something, this is what I would look for. Not just because, oh, it's so perfect, but, and there's all these, indicators, but look, it already went above the 200-day, closed below. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong with just a close back above the 200 and that's it. But if I'm right, I might have a move down all the way back to the value zone. It just gives, this is a perfect example of giving a good risk to reward ratio and with a very definitive line in the sand. If I shorted this here today and it closed back above, I'm out, hopefully for a small loss, generally for a small loss. But if I'm right, I could be right all the way down to here. And that is a confluence of the 200-day moving average and the third ATR channel. So that's kind of interesting. Actually going to mark that. Home Depot, I don't see anything. Just a strong, nice little trend here waiting for a pullback. IBB, I don't see anything here. Intel, well, we are above the 1 ATR channel. See how we're pulling back into the value zone? This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a pulling back into the value zone. I'm looking for a reversion to the mean. I don't buy up here. Everybody knows that. I consider this, extended above the mean. I want to see pull back into value. I consider this above value, in value, below value. I would rather buy below value or in value. But now that we're in the value zone, I need to see that stop going down, look for some sideways motion, look for that false breakout to the downside and reversal, which is a V1. IWM, I don't see anything here. Johnson & Johnson, well, we are below the 1 ATR channel. We've come into the value zone, sideways motion. I look for a V1 or a V2 here for a higher low V1 or V2, but I don't, not right now. CarMax, that's been a monster. Boy, that held above the 200 and just kept on going. Coca-Cola, sideways motion. This could go on for a while, but you know what I always say about sideways motion? That sideways motion is going to break one way or the other eventually. Just don't know what direction or where. Lockheed Martin is hanging out right about the halfway of the big up move bar we had with the big volume back on the 27th. I like where it is in relationship to this bar. We've tested that 50% a couple times, but I would need some kind of entry trigger to get me into it. MasterCard, I don't see anything there. I'd like to see a pullback to the 200-day moving average. That would give a good risk to reward ratio. McDonald's also moving sideways, strong up moves then lead to sideways movement. Sideways movement lead to either strong down moves or strong up moves, but I don't see anything there. Merck having a good day. Don't see anything there either. Microsoft, Microsoft made it back up. Good for Microsoft. Came into the value zone. I like it that it's in the value zone now. I just have to look for a V1 or a V2 in the value zone. Netflix up just about 50 cents today, but up is good. Glenn has that, so congratulations. Looks like it's battling with the 50 RSI here. Yesterday it was above. It would be a good sign if it didn't close below 50. Nike has just been a monster, had that close above the 200-day and just kept on motoring up. We're at a 70.37 RSI. If I was long this stock, I definitely would be looking to take some profits on this if it closed below the 70. Philip Morris down just a little bit. Had a strong move up, looking for a pullback. PayPal. Don't really see anything there, but actually I do. What I see is a double top with the bullish divergence. You know, here's the high MACD bars during this leg up. Then we pulled back down. We went negative on the MACD. Now we're higher than this previous high, but there's no green to be found. It's all red. This is what Dr. Alexander calls a missing right shoulder, and that's what he looks for. He looks for double tops with bearish divergences. He looks for double bottoms with bullish divergences. And this is what's happening right here. Doesn't mean just because that's happening, you go ahead and short. You need some kind of trigger, but the context is there. Qs. I'll tell you what, this is concerning to me. Look, we're going higher and higher and higher and higher. But the momentum, look how high it was here, and it was less here, then it was less here. So, I mean, talk about the perfect divergence. You have the divergence of the prices going up at the same time the momentum going down. Couldn't be any clearer. Upward trend, but even though you're going up, you're losing less. Your momentum's going down and down and down and down. I definitely consider that a bearish indication. SLV down there a little bit today. Kamal's having a really good trade on that. S&P had the nice little gap up on the overnight SPY trade. Steve having a nice trade on Steve Burns having a nice trade on his 1050 crossover here, 115.45. Right now we're at 123.53. Beautiful, Steve. Teladoc, nothing today, but look, we closed below the 1 ATR channel. We've rallied back in. We've had a pullback. People that were fortunate enough to buy here, they rode it up nicely. Now that it's starting to get a little sketchy or a little squirrely, people are selling into that, especially probably here with the loss of the 50. But tomorrow we could have a beautiful higher low V2, right? Here's day one. We were below the 1 ATR channel, below the value zone, up into the value zone, pull back today, washed out yesterday's low. Tomorrow, if we can close above yesterday's close, that would be fantastic. It would be a higher low V2 to the upside, and most likely it would be above the 50. So nothing there today, but that has a lot of possibilities for tomorrow. Bonds, we've all been kind of watching bonds here, held this base, but now we have broken down into a new range, into a new lower range. Tesla, well, look, we rejected the third ATR channel, we rejected the 70 RSI, and we have a V1 to the downside. It's quite bearish. Is holding above this previous high, which is good, but we also have a double top with the bearish divergence going on here. Here's a high. Look how high the bars were. We had a pullback into the red with the MACD. We went higher with just a little green. So this is a double top with the bearish divergence. And technically, you know, that is a bit of a trigger there. I'm not going to short this, but look, you have the double top bearish divergence, and that would be the trigger with the rejection of the 70 and the third ATR channel. Twitter, nothing there. UAL, I don't see anything there as well. UNG, Bob and Quad, gonna have to take a look at that. UNH, I don't see anything there. Oil, Karen and MA having a great day. Dollar, look, this one under 30, over 30, but that's all that it has. That is literally all that it has. If it had a double bottom with the bullish divergence above the third ATR channel, something like that, I may have a little bit more faith, but that's not enough for me to buy. VIX is down, not doing much. Verizon, I don't see anything there. Walgreens, no. Walmart, a lot of sideways motion here. If I could look for a V1 or a V2 with this sideways motion, I would take it, but I don't quite see it yet. Energy Select, I don't see anything there. Financials, no. Real estate, no. Healthcare, no. And Zoom. What'd Zoom do today? Oh, Zoom did go up. Had earnings, went down, reversed back up. So fantastic. So I really don't see anything here today whatsoever that I'm interested in. I'm going to have to get out of Spice. That was a real bummer. JO, I'm holding. SPY, I'm buying at the end of the day. Boeing's doing fine. Amazon, this is the end of the week trade. Etsy's doing fine. Bob is kicking butt. Be nice if I get up there to that third ATR channel. And then Apple. Oh, why is Apple on there? Oh, yeah. Okay. So I don't see anything for me new today. Bob says, thoughts on Citigroup. Well, let's take a look here. I'm not sure how Citigroup back tests with the 1050, but I will take a look. Yeah, it back test negatively, Bob. It back tests with a negative 27% return. So I definitely wouldn't buy it. It's up here next to the third ATR channel. So those are two reasons I wouldn't buy it. Okay, let me take a look over here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of SPCE, since that is not cooperating in the least. Let me see here. All right. Boy, everything's moving up here at the end, isn't it? So I am at a SPCE. That was unfortunate, but that is how it goes. Man, Bob is just doing really well here. Got it, thanks. Okay, Bob, good. So we have 5 minutes to go. So I think I'm just on autopilot here with the SPY. Take a look here. Oh, I better clean that up also. All right. So Netflix is coming back here up nicely. Hope it holds on to the 50 for Glenn. Kamal and Frank doing really well with GIB. Nice going, guys. Steve doing great with SSO, up 1.3%. All right, boy, we're having this little end-of-day rally here, aren't we? You look at Apple intraday. Man, that pulled back into the value zone and just took off. All right, so Steve got it out of Spice. Guess I should put that over there. SPCE. SPCE. All right, so Steve is out of Spice. And then when the market closes, if anybody has any other updates for me on any of their positions, please let me know. Let's see. Zach talked about Spice. Kamal got out of a quarter. All right, I don't see much else. All right, so no new trades for me today whatsoever. Just taking off Spice and letting the winners do their thing. Glenn says, feeling the market wants to rise into Fed meeting next week. It's a rising for sure. For sure, for sure. Hey, Quad, good to see you, buddy. Good afternoon all. Late to the party. Hey, better late than never, right? Okay, we have 1 minute left exactly. All right, about 20 seconds. All right. That is that. So I did sell Spice. I did buy SPY. So look, if anybody has any questions about anything I discussed today, if you have any questions about trading in any way, shape, or form, I'm happy to answer them. That's why I'm here. If you'd like to update and tell me an update on your positions, something that you got in or out of, so I can update the board correctly. But before I do, I just quickly want to mention that I do, like every day, offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I've had lots of students. I've had really good success with my students. I've been trading for 24 years. I've studied under some really great traders and authors like our friend Stephen Burns and Dr. Alexander Elder, Carol Vaughan, Larry Williams in my course, which is 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours, so a total of 15 hours. I teach you everything that I've learned from all my mentors over the years and coaches and my experience. It's a very interactive course. Basically, the first part of the course I teach. The second half, I ask you questions. I have you teach it back to me. We go through tons of charts. We go through tons of data. And basically, you get a lot of repetitions. And so instead of me breaking down the charts when we're done with the lesson, you'll be breaking down the charts with me because I'll be asking you questions. You know, what's the risk to reward? What's your next trade? Is it a good setup? What trade's better, this one or this one? Where's your profit targets? Where's your ultimate profit target? Where's your end of day stop? Where's your emergency stop? This is the kind of stuff we talk about every single day in the in my lesson. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. I like to have a Skype call with a prospective student. It's not a sales call. I promise you, there's no pressure. It's just a Skype call and it's free. I just want to know more about you, and then it's a good time for you to ask questions for me and ask about the course, and we'll see if we're a good fit. And if we are, then we'll schedule it and we'll go ahead. Right? So again, if you're interested in doing that, you can send me an email, which is in the description, or you can send me a message on Skype and we will get it set up. And then also, if you like today's podcast, if you found it helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could take just a half a second before you click out or before you leave, if you could just hit the thumbs up button. It does help to build the channel and promote the channel. There's a lot of people out there that need some guidance with trading, you know, just to be taught some good trading principles. And that's what I try to do here. So if you could do that, I would certainly appreciate it. So, all right, so all I did was buy SPY at 308.08. All right, so the new overnight SPYer is 308.08. 308.08. And that's it. Hey, look at that. JO went positive on the day. Well, how about that? That's good. Then we've got SPY. BA was up at $1.93. Amazon went positive, so I may have to get out of that at the end of the week. We'll see what happens. And then Etsy, really nice day there. Hit the one profit target. I'll just take that one off. And then Alibaba almost got within striking range of 3 profit targets. That's tough to do. All right. So that is it. Quad says, hedge hit my stop loss, so I'm out. Okay. And I think Bing He would be out of that almost as well. I'm almost sure of that. All right. Quad says, thanks for a profitable BABA trade, though. I only had a few shares, so I'm out of that. Okay, you're out of BABA. All right. Kamal, did not sell Roku, still holding 50-day. I'm ignoring the second day of the 100 SMA rejection. Okay. All right. AGQ will close when SLV closes below 5 EMA. Okay. And it is holding the 5 EMA. Okay, good. All right. Karen, hi Karen, good to see you. Good afternoon, Greg, and all. Out of Spice. Okay, I figured, yeah, that was a bummer. That was a bummer of all bummers, that trade. Frank says, Greg, I'm also holding BABA. Oh, you are? Okay. All right, got you down there, Frank. Miko is out of Spice. Good to hear. Bob is still in UNG. Okay. And what about Quad? Quad, you still in UNG? And I know Steve's still in DDM and still in SSO. Okay. Zach says Branson selling shares. Would that be enough to tank the stock so much, Greg? Yeah, I think so. If that's what's happening, sure. Insider selling. I mean, not insider trading, but insider. I mean, sure, when you have somebody like that, big officer of the company and founder of the company selling shares, yeah, that would definitely have an effect, I would imagine. That's probably why it was down. So I still have Frank, Pincy, and Gary in SPCE. Is that correct? All right. Well, dang. A lot of good trades today, except for that spice trade, unfortunately. But that's how it goes. But still a green day, so I will take it. I will take it. I've had some good positions lately. Okay, Frank, gotcha. Gotcha out there. So I have Pinsky and Gary left on Virgin Galactic. Okay. So I only see Gary left on Virgin Galactic. Dan said, Greg, would SPCE be a V1 to the downside? Technically it's a V2 to the downside, Dan. It would have been a V1 yesterday if we would have closed below this close. So here's day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 certainly washed out day 1's high, but it didn't close below the close. But this is a V2 technically. Here's day 1, here's day 2, here's day 3. Day 2 washes out, goes above day 1, and then day 3 closes above day 1's close. So this is a V2 to the downside. Does that make sense, Dan? All right. Okay. Boy, glad that JO went up that penny. That's nice. That's nice. Need that to go up, but I did like that setup. Dan, oh, I got it. I'm still doing the happy dance that I'm in the ballpark. You're getting there. You know, Dan, I have that video in my YouTube channel in the lessons section that talks all about V1s and V2s, and it's about an hour, and that's all I talk about. So, you know, maybe if you could watch that, you could kind of dial that in a little bit more. But let me know if you have any other questions. Frank says something about a V2 rocket SPCE fueled by UNG is troublesome picture. Yep. True. Thanks, Kamal. Thanks, buddy. Man, Frank's good with words. Something about a V2 rocket spice fueled by UNG is troublesome picture. Yes, it is. That's great. Okay, well, listen, if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. Just let me know. Otherwise, I will go out and brave the heat. It's beautiful up here in Utah, just beautiful in the mountains. Absolutely stunning. All right. Dan says, yes, many great lessons. I watch them over and over, just a little slow but progressing. Well, I mean, look, Dan, here is a perfect V1. See, a V1, when I say V1, it includes two bars. Here's bar 1. Here's bar 2. Bar 2 washes out bar 1 and then close above bar 1's close. So if there's two bars involved, it's called a V1. Back to space. This would have been a V1 if it would close below here. But if it washes day 1 out to the upside and then goes down, but it doesn't close below day 1's close, then it can happen the second day. See how the second day closed below day 1? So a V1 will always include 2 bars. A V2 will always include 3 bars. Zach says, Greg, thanks so much for your time. You are welcome, Zach. Thanks for coming, buddy. Always appreciate you being here. Frank says, hot summer weather makes the market sleepy. That's true. Yep. You get a whole different feel in the summertime sometimes, don't you, Frank? All right. Well, listen, please go out, try to do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile or a wave or a hello. Man, do we need it in this day and age, right? We really, really need it. So let's just try to be kind to everyone and each other and try to do something, a nice kindness or effort for somebody each day. It's good karma and it helps your trading. It's not scientifically proven, but that's just my theory. Wiener Dog says, thank you, Greg. Have a wonderful evening. You too, Karen. And looking forward to getting our lessons back going when you're ready. Mohammed says, thanks, Greg. Have a nice evening. You too, Mohammed. Dan says, thanks, Greg. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. So, all right. And on the way out of here, if you wouldn't mind, if you could hit the thumbs up button, I would really, really appreciate that. So have a good rest of your day. Please be safe. Please be good. And we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, during the last hour of the market. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.